Hi, this is Carrie Sparks with Empire Title, your Arizona title gal, and moving with the market host today, here with Brian Reeve from Neighborhood Loans in Chandler. And today's topic is going to be new construction, which is a big buzzword in the industry right now. We just don't have enough inventory. And so build, baby, build out there, as long as they're doing it within the parameters set up by ADRE and local governments. But you have been involved in new construction for some years now, both as a lender and as well as a developer now that we've been working together and collaborating. Tell us about what you're seeing in new construction. Is it easy? Is it hard? Tell us what you're seeing out right now in new construction.
Wow, that's huge.
It's a big nut to crack.
It's a really really big nut to crack because you have you have such a large spectrum here in what we see going on, what should be going on, and what's the reality of what's happening, right? And so a couple of things that you have to understand the overall idea behind developing. The overall idea behind developing and profitability is one, typically tract home communities. Tract home communities, builder will go in, they will basically acquire the land, they will do land banking with somebody else, they'll do the improvements, they'll buy the land back, and then they'll be able to go vertical, and then they build in their margins and their contractors and all of these other things, and they build a price, and these are what the larger major home builders do. When the larger home builders do this, what happens is their ability to control the market and the cost and the demand is better than doing infill lots. And the reason is because they're setting their own comps. When they're doing their model homes, their first couple model homes, and they put the offices in the garages, they're really controlling their market. They're controlling their houses. They're controlling the demand. They're controlling the financing. They're controlling everything along those lines. And so when you see that dynamic happening, it's more of a setup, more simplified, healthier model in terms of developing. Now, what has happened with the water moratorium, things that we've had here, us running out of land, we've seen a lot of people start going into outskirts, infill lots, and what's happening is that you have a lot of contractors out there that are looking for business, that are looking for ways to do this. I've even seen real estate agents do this. I have seen just average individuals try to get into the home building process, right? Because the profitability behind building homes, right? And so what happens is they will buy it, they will start construction, but they really have no idea in terms of what is required. I've had situations where we have actually done a customer on a new build on an infill lot, get up to the end, we're asking for amendatories, the builder docs, the forms that are required for new construction less than 1 year, and the builder doesn't have them. And when we ask the builder, hey, why don't you have these docs? No, well, because I'm not a general contractor. I'm just building this house to build it for a real estate agent, and now I'm going to turn around and sell it. Well, owner builds, there's a reason why you can't do new construction to owner builds. One, because typically if the buyer takes off or doesn't able to complete the project, the exposure that's left there by the customer doing sweat equity, which means that putting in their own hard work into it to keep those costs low. And if the bank has to step in and do it, then they have to actually hire another contractor at full boat price, and they may be underwater. The other thing is even in the ROC, if you look in the state of Arizona, you cannot do an owner build without a GC and sell within the first year. It's not intended for that. In fact, it's a class 1 misdemeanor. So
I don't think a lot of people that are in construction understand that.
well, and we've also seen this in the fix and flip arena. Like we've also had a lot of people watching DIY channels where, mom and pop, said, hey, let's get into doing this, get into a project, and they realize, hey, this is costing too much, and they're putting their own sweat equity in it. They're just putting drywall on the wall, covering mold behind it, all of these problems, all these class action lawsuits, and everything that's happening. That's why the state of Arizona just changed the laws on fix and flip. Like you have to be a general contractor to do fix and flip. So some of these margins are going to get compressed a little bit in fix and flip financing, and also new construction. We're seeing some of these things where we have actors that are even sometimes even turn around and selling the house for what it costs to build the house. And when you do that and you're not in a track protecting your comps, then what happens is it affects every single other builder around you because it sets the comps. So I have seen situations where people are going into markets, Pinal County being one of them, where they will just basically say, hey, this is what it costs to build a house. We'll turn around and sell it just for the simple fact to get the listing fee or whatever it is, but not actually selling that house for really what it's worth or what the demand supplies, right? Supply and demand is we need to have a certain set of no's and a certain set of yeses to create an equal balance between true supply and demand. We don't sell every single thing that we build to every single customer that wants it, right?
Right.
And so that's what's happening in Pinal County. Now, a lot of people in these outskirting areas, they'll say, well, okay, I want to buy land. I want to get a construction loan. And one of the things that they do is they'll say, well, I'm going to go get a construction loan and I'm going to build a house over here and I'm going to hire a contractor to do this. The thing that we're running into in some of these outskirt areas is on construction loans, their price per square foot, which they have quoted from their contractors in case that something happens with that project, their contractors have to come in and actually do the repairs. It's very hard to find a construction loan for less than $225 a square, right? Most lenders won't lend it to you for less than $225 a square because that's what it costs them to have somebody come in and finish the project in the event that you fail building the project. Well, when you go into Pinal County, for instance, Eloy, Toltec, Arizona City, Casa Grande.
And even way outside of the Maricopa County area. I know that some things are going on out in Yuma.
Yes.
Things are going on down in Santa Cruz County, in Cochise County. That stuff comes to me with sometimes not just the price per square foot, but we haven't talked on, and hopefully we can, a little bit about ADUs and barndominiums and some of the other structures that may not be fully permitted by the county or the city.
Right. So to finish that topic right there is if we went into Eloy, Toltec, Arizona City, areas like this, these typically only sell from anywhere from 176 to 190 a square. And so if the requirement of a minimum loan is $225 a square, you can't effectively in those areas get construction financing. And because no lenders will typically drop below $225 a square.
That's
so
interesting.
What this does is this creates the environment of hard money. And so you have investors that are getting with people with loans that have balloons on them and investments. And so trusting contractors or non-GCs, if they don't know what they're doing, they run the potential of running in. So there may be some areas where you're starting to see maybe some spikes of foreclosures in new construction, but a lot of it has to do with because it's not being done correctly and it's not being done with the right financing.
Well, there's not really a place for builders to go and learn how to be builders. They can, of course, go to the ADRE website. There are tools involved in their website, as well as there are builders associations throughout Arizona. How much education they do, I don't really know, but these smaller builders do have places that they can go. And title companies like myself with Empire that are here to help, lenders such as yourself and developers that can help in understanding and navigating what can be really complex and sometimes end up with sizable fines when they have not done it the correct way. But I know that ADRE, from talking with the commissioner and deputy commissioner, really wants to reach out and help people with this. And so I would encourage people to call and find out if they think they have done something that wasn't correct. Contact somebody who can solve a problem and at least give them the information before it gets any worse. I just encourage always trying to make things right.
Yes, absolutely. And as you found out, Carrie, even areas like Pinal County, Eloy, Arizona City, even though we have these problems, I have solutions to a lot of these problems where we're able to still continue with minimum down payments. I'm still doing new construction with USDA loans, right? I'm still figuring out ways to allow building to happen when many other people are like, well, how are you doing a USDA loan on new construction? How is that even possible that you're getting 100% financing and able to roll in the closing costs on a purchase, right? It's just a matter of knowing how to navigate the space, knowing how to deal with the financing and solidifying and getting that stuff done, being able to get people's money back on properties that they've bought through purchase transactions where otherwise they think that that money is gone and they just have to build on top of it and expect that equity to be gone. There's a lot of moving pieces to new construction. You touched on barndominiums and ADUs. I feel a lot of people
It's a
feel
hot
like
topic right now in the news.
it's a highly competitive space. You have Amazon, you have Boxable, you have all these other places that are trying to do these small homes and affordable homes, and a lot of people feel like, hey, this is the answer to the affordable housing crisis. And I think the affordable housing crisis, some of this is going to taper off with as the market adjusts. But a lot of people aren't taking into consideration like the ADUs. Like a lot of local authorities have blown out requirements of ADUs and what you could put in backyards. Like California ran into this issue where everybody was putting ADUs in their backyard, but nobody checked with planning and zoning because now you have double the trash cans. You have three
Right.
times the amount of cars. You have three times, and it's like, okay, so how do we keep up with this, right? And so I think they're starting to kind of get their hands around that a little bit and trying to figure out where we're going to allow the ADUs, where we're not. Is planning and zoning on board? Is sanitary on board with this? And so in a lot of areas it makes sense. Barndominiums, when you start getting into unique property styles, that changes that changes the dynamics of the loan too, the amount of percentage down, how much the interest rates are. So it's not always just a quick fix by like, hey, let me do a barndominium because that's a unique house, or I'm going to build a log cabin. That's a specialty home. That is totally different. The financing changes. So you got to know really all of the steps and how it impacts you 100% from cradle to the grave.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate the information. I'm Carrie Sparks with Empire Title, your Arizona Title Gal, and Moving with the Market host, here with Brian Reeve from Neighborhood Loans here in Chandler, and another great podcast. I really appreciate your time, your knowledge, and your passion to help people.
Thank you, Carrie. Appreciate it. Brian Reeve, branch manager with Neighborhood Loans, 602-741-4801. Thank you.